We're live on DSTV, channel 41, Go TV 144. I'm Ernest Minu. Welcome to Joy News Prime. In our headlines tonight, the minority demands that Finance Minister Kojo Manu briefs Parliament on government expenditure on the construction of the National Cathedral, as Kojo Manu is set to answer questions in the House next week.
If it will be in the interest of this country for the Finance Minister to brief the House as well as to the circumstances leading to those expenditures.
Also coming up, the NDC touts itself as the most enduring and successful party in the Fourth Republic as it marks 30 years as a political party.
All the regional hospitals in the country can be attributed to the handiwork of the NDC. The entire opponents to engage us in debate, and we'll tell them that in terms of infrastructure development, NDC, we are head and post apart.
And here also in Joy News Prime, some prospective Hajj pilgrims protest extra charges for travel to Saudi Arabia for the Islamic rituals.
The new charges should apply to those who are interested, who want to perform Hajj this year, and they want to pay this year. But those who have paid already, you've already promised them that there is no need. They will not be paying any amount of money.
Hello again, my name is Ernest Minu. Thanks for choosing us. Now, the minority in Parliament is demanding that the Finance Minister Kojo Manu answers questions on government expenditure on the construction of the National Cathedral. Now, government has reportedly spent 200 million Ghana cedis on the cathedral since the construction began. The Finance Minister has been programmed to answer a question on questions on the floor next week. That's regarding the COVID-19 expenditure. Speaking on the floor of Parliament, Adaklu MP Kwame Gavins Adboja insists that the minister must also answer questions on the cathedral when he appears.
Mr. Speaker, on the second page, the second page of the business statement, I'm happy to see the business committee scheduled the finance minister to be here to talk about expenditures incurred by government in relation to the COVID outbreak. Mr. Speaker, whilst the minister is here, I implore the business committee and yourself to direct that the finance minister is here. I would request that the very sensitive issue about government expenditure on the National Cathedral, of which has been in public domain, and payments made from the public coffers. Mr. Speaker, I believe it will be in the interest of this country for the Finance Minister to brief the House as well as to the circumstances leading to those expenditures, partly because it is believed that the expenditure perhaps may be out of what the Public Procurement and the Public Financial Management Act requires. For instance, Mr. Speaker, the consultant, as we know, just got inducted into the Ghana Institute of Architects last month, yet he was paid in 2020 for being the consultant to the National Cathedral. Mr. Speaker, this House passed the Public Financial Management Act and the Public Procurement Act. So if public funds are being doled out to an entity...
Honourable member.
Mr. Speaker, I agree with you. He's not answering. This one, he's been scheduled to appear in the House to brief members. It's not a question. So I'm saying that whilst he's here dealing with that, he should act that so that he prepares before coming. Mr. Speaker, another thing we can do is to file a motion for members for the House to set up a bipartisan committee to do a full-scale investigation. He can choose one of them. Come here and provide the information voluntarily, or we file a motion, invite him and investigate him. So, Mr. Speaker, it's his choice. I think that once this is coming,
very well,
it's up to him.
Well, the second Deputy Speaker, Andrew Mokwesiama, who presided over the House, advised the MP to rather file a substantive question for the minister to answer.
Then, wouldn't you put a question for the minister to come and address all these areas? Because the minister will be here next week. From what I've seen, he is coming to answer the 16 questions. So if 16 questions do not cover this area, I don't think to be fair for him to jump into that area. So if you think you need the minister to answer that particular question, you can file a question to that. so that he will come here and address the nation.
Now, the national chairman of the opposition NDC, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, has touted the achievement of the party, describing it as the most enduring and successful party in the Fourth Republic. At a ceremony to mark 30 years of the party's existence, he noted that the NDC has done far more for the country than any other party in the last 30 years.
The NDC is a great party, and we must all be proud of it. It is therefore incumbent on all of us to commit ourselves to the defense of the party and its policies and programs. The NDC has contributed to the development of the country more than any other political party in the Fourth Republic. It is the NDC that introduced and implemented the National Electrification Program, which connected all regions and districts of this country with electrification. Indeed, the rural electrification, the SHARP projects were all undertaken by the NDC government. Ever since the Kojo Manu Dam was built and the Kwan Dam was built, it is the NDC who changed the generation mix and brought the Abuazi thermal plant together in order to add thermal complementarity to our energy mix. And beyond that, all other expansion of the energy mix has been spearheaded by the NDC. To the extent that when the NPP came to power, they were complaining that we have generated more power than it is needed. I'm surprised that when you come and inherit more, something more, you even complain that you have inherited something more. But we NDC, we are proud of our achievement. It is the NDC that provided more health infrastructure than any other political party, including the building of regional hospitals. All the regional hospitals in the country can be attributed to the handiwork of the NDC. Come and talk about education. All the polytechnics were put in place by the NDC, and we upgraded them into technical universities. There were only 3 public universities in this country. Any other public university was put in place by the NDC government. In the secondary education, we cannot talk about it. Every monumental development at the secondary level, including the E-blocks, were put up by the NDC government. And we are proud of our achievement. You go to the water systems, the K3 water supply, the community water and sanitation, the small water supply systems, everything in terms of water supply in this country. Tell our opponents to engage us in debate, and we'll tell them that in terms of infrastructure development, in terms of supply of services to this country, NDC, we are head and poles apart when it comes to any comparison.
Now, he noted the NDC has survived 3 decades because of the unflinching dedication of its rank and file, despite attempts by their major opponents to disorganize and destroy the party.
Fellow Akatamansunians, the MPP won the 2000 election, and all attempts were made to annihilate the NDC. But trust me, the party survived and remained resilient despite all the machinations, intimidations, and harassment it went through. I must state that between the period of 2001 and 2002, the NDC went through the worst part of its history. So determined was the MPP to decimate the NDC that the majority leader in parliament at that time, the late J.H. Mensah, in describing the future of the NDC, made a statement to the effect, and I quote, "By the time we finish with the prosecution of all these NDC people, there will be no party left." But the NDC remained unruffled and soldiered on. We put the pieces together after the 2002 Congress and started working hard. Yes, we demonstrated the indomitable spirit of the never say die until the bones are rotten, and the Kuma Pima Apembaba spirit to move the party together. Then in 2004 election, the NDC made a very strong showing, which shocked the MPP and Ghanaians. In fact, as a result of the performance of the NDC in the elections, a panic-stricken MPP, led by the late Jake Obichebi Lamte, rushed to the seat of government, the castle, and hurriedly organized a press conference and announced the results of the election and declared the MPP as the winners of the elections, even when the Electoral Commission had not announced the official results. This was a harbinger of coming events, as the MPP eventually was defeated in the 2008 election, and the NDC came back and formed the government led by His Excellency Professor John Evans Atamnes.
The first General Secretary of the NDC, Alhaji Hudu Yaya, has warned against the monetization of the party's electoral processes as it gears up to reorganize and capture political power in 2024. According to Mr. Yaya, the phenomenon, if allowed to persist, will weaken the party and result in a situation where, quote, strangers will lead the party. Speaking at the NDC's 30th anniversary celebration, he urged delegates to vote based on the active years and commitment of the various candidates.
Mr. Chairman, let me also say that manitocracy, or what is it, manicracy or manito, whatever it is, manicracy, that is also something that will weaken our party. Yeah, that is also something that will weaken our party. Mr. Chairman, let's make it a point, and everybody should hear loud and clear, that when we are going for internal elections in the party, the questions that delegates should ask themselves should be, the person who wants us to vote for him or who wants me, who wants my vote, the question should be, how long have you been in the party? Do not discourage it. We will come and have strangers leading the party. And when I say, and when I say strangers leading the party, a party is built together by people who believe in certain ideals. So if you have not demonstrated how much you are convinced about those ideals, how can you fight for those ideals?
He's also urged the leadership of the party to take a critical look and take serious disciplinary actions against persons who campaign skirt and blouse. Mr. Yaya noted that the party's performance was affected by this phenomenon in the last elections.
We realize that there are a number of constituencies where we had skirt and blouses, where either the president will win and will lose the seat, or will win the seat and the president loses. We will have to resolve this issue of the skirt and blouses. And I am saying that, Mr. Chairman, I am saying that we should make it a point. Anybody who can be proven that the person openly canvassed skirt and blouse, the party should take very serious disciplinary action against such a person. Because the Constitution, not only our Constitution, but even the National Constitution or the electoral law, does not allow you to belong to two parties.
Now, the Ghana Online Drivers Association say they will boycott foreign ride-hailing apps in 2 months if their demands for better working conditions are not met. The drivers say the cost of driving around has nearly doubled, whereas their profits continue to dwindle. They are also asking the companies to reduce their service charges from 25% to 15%. Michael Ashali has more on the following report.
You need to manage the fuel that you have. If you don't manage it, if you don't drive like carefully, will go against you. Trust me. I've gone days that I've had lost. Like I come home and then the money that I have in my bag is not even to that. It's not up to the amount of fuel that I bought, and that's just a loss. You know, that's very bad.
Kennedy Clerk Esiedu is one of many online drivers in Ghana. He laments the increased cost of fuel and its impact on his job. He owns a 1.3 engine capacity Kia Morning, one of the preferred vehicles for such a job, and has been on this job for 2 years.
For my car, to fill the tank was around 120 cedis, somewhere around 2019, and then later 2020 became around 180, which was still moderate. I mean, after deducting the company's percentage and then the fuel price, you will still go home with a little something that you can save up, you know. But now, this small car, this small tank, I fill it for 270 cedis.
The price of fuel in recent times have risen astronomically. It started selling at 7 Ghana cedis in January, and by the beginning of June, it was being sold for more than 10 Ghana cedis per litre. The price of spare parts in recent times have also been fluctuating. More than ever, drivers are feeling the pinch of economic hardship.
You know, the increase in fuel and also the percentages, as in the amount we pay to these service providers in a form of commission, you know, coupled with the fuel, makes it very difficult for us. So when you are being hit with, say, a damage to your car, you have to service your car and all that, it's out of this 25% you have to, you know, take something from, and it's quite stressful.
First, when I buy for like 100 cedis, I would work like 250, 300, but now if you buy like 150, if you don't even take it, you can't even work like 300 cedis, which is making the way very difficult.
So it's either that the pittance that you are earning from what you get is either you are spending it on your car or on the fuel itself. So you go to Abusuakan, wherever you buy your spare parts, prices go up every single day. I recently bought a new mirror. Someone broke it. He paid for it. I had bought one for around 150 cedis. Just last week, it's 300 cedis now.
Clerk is not alone. Many of the drivers say they suffer to make ends meet, and on some days rather incur losses.
But their prices are nowadays kind of low, and the fuel is just going up. So I think they should raise the cost of their fuel, their prices, so that if not that, they should reduce the percentage a little bit lower, so that it will favor with the drivers.
Clerk says some of his colleagues have given up altogether due to the hardship.
I know quite a few people who are no more into the business. How much are you getting to spend the same amount on sales, maintenance, and fuel? It's pretty bad. Even me, that I don't do sales to anybody, I know that it's bad, trust me.
Unlike their counterparts who drive commercial buses, online drivers do not determine how much customers should pay per trip. They also have to pay a service fee between 18 and 25% to the app developers per trip.
Sometimes you have to drive about 3 to 4 kilometers. You pick the person, and the person is going somewhere about 500 meters away.
But their prices are nowadays kind of low, and the fuel is just going up.
Security is top of the list of concerns for these drivers as well.
Our security on the app is not others. It's very low.
So somebody actually took my phone. After we completed the trip, I was supposed to give the person a change. When I was doing that, he just took the phone and ran away. You understand? And if you go to a place like Teshinungwa in the evening, it's serious. It's serious. Somebody will request, you will get there and they will attack you. If you are lucky, they will take your phone and money. If you are not, they will hurt you and even take your car.
Without a union in the past, the drivers have failed to get their pleas heard by government.
As of now, I'm not aware that we have any organization whatsoever.
But that is about to change.
The job is not easy. The challenges are one, most riders cancel the trip too much. You are going to pick a rider maybe 6-7 kilometers away. You drive, you halfway through, and then the rider cancels the trip. Of late, we have too much high fuel. You know, it's at the cost of the driver.
Francis Tenge is the president of the Ghana Online Drivers Union, a relatively new group fronting some of the negotiations for better conditions of service. He says talks with the various companies have proven futile.
We have been demonstrating, strike, we've written petitions, and nothing has been done. So this year, we've decided if nothing is done, then our alternative is to boycott the app.
The union has also given foreign-based ride-hailing apps up to 2 months to improve conditions of service, or they will defect to other locally owned apps.
The alternative is moving on to a local app. That is any app that is ready to listen to us. Both said by the end of June we will hear from them. They receive our petition. So they said by the end of June they will try to update most of our petitions or grievances that we telling. So we are waiting. If by the end of June we don't hear anything, we give an ultimatum maybe 2 or 3 months from now, and then we boycott it.
In the meantime, Clerk hopes the price of fuel will begin to drop.
People are just going to stop using the services since the prices or the fares are too much. So I, for one, I would opt for a decrease in the fuel prices. Actually, I think that is what's going to help us.
The price of fuel continues to gallop with no end in sight. These drivers can only hope for better days. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
The Member of Parliament for Nalerigu Gambaga in the Northeast Regional Haji Seidu Bamba Isifu is demanding that government fulfills its promise to fix the road from Kuguna to Nalerigu to reduce the plight of the people in the area. The road was under construction until 2017 when the NPP government abandoned it under the National Roads Auditing System, which resulted in the neglect of several road projects started by the NDC administration across the country. The NDC and the Roads and Highways Minister, Kwesi Amoakwata, has assured Parliament that the road will be fixed before the end of 2021. That was an assurance he made, but the road is yet to be fixed more than 6 months after that assurance. Speaking at a meeting with residents, the MP assured them of his intention to pile up pressure on government to fix the road.
Kulgona is a major community located eastward of the East Amprosi municipality bordering the Yunyo district. The road from Nalerigu to the community cuts left from the Gwintiri Nalerigu road after the community of Nagbo. The road also serves as the only access route for the residents of about 17 nearby villages, and to them the only link to and through the Yunyo district. But after many years of continued neglect, the entire residents living in the area now seem to have a common concern: the poor state of the road. We are always cut off during the rainy season. During this time, lives and properties are often lost as people try to use this road. The number of human lives and property lost here is countless. We lost about 3 motorbikes last year. At this point, we are bracing ourselves for the worst to happen when the rain starts to come. Aside from the potholes that have developed on the road and need fixing, 2 huge bridges are required to make it motorable. The road along with these 2 bridges was under construction but has since been abandoned in 2017 when this government took over power. The decision by the government to abandon the project compelled the MP late last year to drag the sector minister before Parliament. The minister, Amoakwata, responding to the parliamentary sermons, assured that the project was to be completed by the end of the year. However, more than 6 months after the assurance, the road is yet to be fixed, and the residents say they are waiting for the minister to prove his words with actions. Due to the poor state of the road, we are unable to seek health care and access market centers, and children are unable to go to school. So how is it that others are enjoying all these basic social amenities while we have none and are suffering? The challenges we face as a result of the nature of this road are numerous. For Joshua, a tricycle driver, the condition of the road is making it difficult to transport farm produce and other goods from one place to another. In the rainy season, we are unable to transport our farm produce. In the rainy season, we are unable to transport our farm produce from the farm to either market or storage centers due to the poor nature of the road. Also, we are unable to transport people from their villages to access some essential services which are only available in bigger communities. This young mother, Adam Barkisu, is worried about her children's education and hospital attendance as the rainy season is approaching. For this woman, she's worried about the absence of a market center in her community due to the state of the road, which she says is affecting economic activities. The Member of Parliament, Alhaji Baba Seidu Isifu, has pledged his full support for the residents' call for the road to be fixed. The MP, addressing the residents in the community, assured them of his commitment to ensuring the construction of the road as promised by the roads minister.
It's almost 6 months now since I filed the question and we engaged on the floor of Parliament. So it is a worry. It's a worry. If you take your cameras there, you will be very sorry for the people of Kojo. Why should government use state money? NDC constructed it. And what does it take to complete it? They clearly told us that they were going to do an audit. You are in Ghana, you heard them saying that they were going to do audits of all roads, construction and other projects. You get a point. How long is it going to take them to do the assessment?
They don't have money.
How long is it going to take them to do it? Does it take 6 years, 7 years, 8 years to do assessment of a road? Value for money audit? What is value for money audit? You get a point. You cannot leave it that way. You cannot leave it that way. The people are suffering. They are Ghanaians. They deserve better.
From Kulkwana, Ilyas Sutanku reporting for Joy News.
This is Joy News Prime with me, Anas Minu. We're taking a short break and we'll return to bring you some more stories. Don't go away. Thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. The much discussed Afari Hospital, military hospital, has only a few finishing touches to become operational. Now, engineer of the project says work on the site is expected to be completed by December 2022. According to Abu Sharma, the project, which was meant to be completed considerably sooner, ran into challenges. He spoke to the media during a tour of the facility. Mohammed Nuruddin reports.
The tour is part of preparations to hand over the facility to government for commissioning.
We are here. I'm the country manager, Abraham Juma Odum, with the chairman of the group to inspect and get ourselves prepared for the handing over. From here, 500-bed military hospital, we are going to Konongo, which is ready to be commissioned this month by the president. Then we'll also go to Sewua, where we have the regional hospital, 250-bed capacity. So as a group, we are visiting the hospitals under construction to ensure that our preparation for the handing over is in place. The assurance is what you saw on the presentation. I've been here, this is my about 4 times within 2 months, making sure that whatever milestones, as he explained to us there, is being followed, so that at the end of the day, the delivery time that we have put ourselves, we've scheduled ourselves, we'll be able to make it. So, yes.
The 500-bed hospital was approved by Parliament in November 2008. However, construction was delayed due to changes in location. The contract's tax exemption, which was a condition, was also delayed until 2017.
Oh, sure. The project would have been ready by now. You know, because the challenges, if you take the movement from the project from one side to another side, and it's also all cost for the contractor, because once you are moving to another side, then you are there preparing, they come and tell you that move to this other side, is all cost. And that cost, who is going to bear it? Is it the people of Ghana, the taxpayers? So this project has traveled so long that, you know, even the contractor, we are even worried as contractor for the project. So we need a government support to ensure that this project, you know, is completed.
Engineers are now certain that the facility will be ready in 6 months.
Now the progress now is around 95%, and the remaining only around 5%. This is including our equipment and the material which we have it already now. The remaining work, we plan to finish everything by end of this year. Left is final touching and fixing the remaining equipment. Some challenges happened, but now we are sorted that. We have to look to the future now. The way forward now, we don't have any changes now. We are doing our best to finish the project as we planned. Scope of work, as I told you, we are doing everything from A to Z. We make the design, we make supplying the equipment and installing equipment, testing, training, and the maintenance for 3 years.
Asante Achim Central Municipal Hospital was completed in September 2021, but due to bad roads, commissioning is delayed.
Of course, the access road to the hospital affects the commissioning because it was not ready, but I would like to mention here that the access road is not in the scope of EDI, but in the scope of the government, so they are responsible to do the access road to the hospital. This is one the most reasons that affect the commissioning date of the hospital.
Say the kwano contractor nso we na enso no akade kakra wo so ye. Na de we ni say wo say aban emenis cabinet konfenwi. Nam say anti contractor na je adwuma ne. Ti akwaya ni problem hospital mtimi say we akwa ni problem. Ti mtimi we kwa ma dia kasem bi ani ho.
E de no be ka kira ba.
Dem pese me ka kira ba na say aban tin ho na nka contractor no. And sika no hia no so de man onfa ma no na kontimi fanye finish no fanye adwuma na aka ntimi hospital onfa contractor ne sika no ma no ntimi wi ekwa ne de aka contractor so no ne sika no de to hia sika no efiri aban ho na aban so man sika no onfa wi aka no na asmo.
Resident engineer Ahmed Ali says apart from the completion of the physical infrastructure, personnel have also completed their training program to begin work on the ultra-modern facility.
As you can see, the hospital is already ready since September 2021, and during the last 3 months we have already finished the training program for the staff that will use the hospital to be able to manage their work properly. The hospital consists of a lot of facilities, all the systems, everything, furniture, medical equipment and non-medical equipment, all are installed. The hospital is 100% ready for the operation and for the commissioning by His Excellency the President of Ghana.
A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.